Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio. Prano is not here. For those of you watching, you can see No Chill is currently on sabbatical somewhere in New York City. I don't know what he's doing. Does anybody know what Prano's doing? I feel like he was a little hush-hush. Is he really in New York? I don't know. What's going on? Is he on a secret mission? He just said he was going to New York. He was doing the Fanatics Fest. Something for tops. That's all we know. More like a little top secret. That's what it sounded like. So here's how we're going to do today's show. We're going to try something new. You guys are going to be stuck with me to start off the show. I'm going to discuss a few things going on in the news. Then we're going to bring on Randy Ruther. Justin Wood, he'll come on. We'll talk a little NFL. We're going to focus on what's going on with the Bengals, which we haven't really discussed at all on this show. Just the craziness. It's been actually national news. I've just stayed away from it with their first round pick, Shamar Stewart, that's not signed. And then, of course, Trey Hendrickson and classic Bengals going to bungle everything. So we'll bring on Justin to discuss that. And then basically, we're going to close it out. We're going to bring on Ryan Klatt. Bring on Clatter here, and we'll wrap up the NHL season. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup final and Florida Panthers going back-to-back. So that's what we're going to do. So let's mow through it, and maybe Joe will join us. I don't know. Again, we don't know where Prano is. We're not sure where he's at, and I don't know. I'm already getting a text from Justin Wood here. I'm already getting a text. No, man, you be on sooner than that. Okay. All right. So here's what I want to talk about first. I want to talk about the sale of the Los Angeles Lakers. Big news, surprising news. I was shocked when I saw this. The Buss family, the legendary Buss family, is selling the Lakers at a $10 billion valuation to Dodgers owner Mark Walter. His group and his company has run the Dodgers, I think, since 2012. He is the head of Guggenheim Partners, a global financial service firm with more than $325 billion, that's billion with a B, in assets. And they bought the Dodgers for $2 billion in 2012. So we have an agreement to sell the Lakers, man. You know, here's the thing. As somebody who lived in Los Angeles, this is kind of bittersweet, to be honest. I always associate the Lakers with the Buss family. And Jerry Buss, he should have his own statue. That's the truth. Jerry Buss should have his own statue outside the Staples Center. They got so many statues outside the Staples Center. They got Magic, and they got Kareem, and they got Shaq, and they got Kobe. And then you got the non-Lakers players. They got Wayne Gretzky. They got, I think, Oscar De La Hoya. I think Jerry West. Buss, he should have one. Buss should have one. I mean, he is such an integral part, not just for the Lakers, but for the NBA. Now, if you watched Winning Time, which only lasted, I think, I don't know, a season and a half, but, you know, I read the book, Showtime Lakers, and it's like he was so pivotal for the NBA. And to be honest, not just the game, but for the entertainment. Everything you see now when you go to an NBA arena, everything you see is basically based off the Lakers. The dancing girls, the DJ, all that stuff is in the basically the vibe or even what he created, Dr. Jerry Buss. You know, the Laker girls were iconic. And now every team's got girls dancing. It's just he wanted to make it more than basketball. And obviously it's been with their family since he bought the team, I believe, in 1979. Yeah, Jerry Buss bought him in 1979. And remember, they won a title the following year. They draft Magic Johnson and they get 10 rings under the Buss ownership. So Jeannie Buss, his daughter, who's been heading it up, she will still be the governor. The governor. I don't really understand that still, what that means, but she will still be heading it up. And the Buss family will still retain about 15% interest in the Lakers ownership. But yeah, I mean, this is big news. This is big news, on many fronts. Obviously, it's big news, like I said, that the Buss family has owned the team, an iconic franchise, an iconic family. It'd be like the Rooneys selling the Steelers. A family name that you associate with a team like that's won a lot of Super Bowls. Obviously, Lakers have won a lot of NBA titles. So, it's a big deal. And it's also a big deal because it's the largest sale ever for a professional sports team. We're not just talking about the United States. We're not just talking about America. We're not just talking about North America. We're talking in the history of the world. $10 billion is what they're valuing the team at. So the money is there in the NBA. I know some people will try to spin some things about the NBA, and we talk about it all the time, and the ratings, the money is there. The facts back it up. That's all I'm looking at, the facts. And these teams are selling. These NBA teams are selling, and they're selling for huge values. And you can debate all you want the value of a professional sports franchise, but the market is dictating what they're worth, right? That's what capitalism is. It's dictating this is the value that we've set for this team, and it's that high. And here's a great fact when people want to talk about the NBA and the valuations. Let's look at the top 10 most expensive professional sport team sales in the U.S. The top 10 most highest valued teams. 6 of them are NBA, right? So of the top 10, 6 are NBA. So the game is still strong. The game is still valued. It's still a very valuable game. Lakers are top on that list at $10 billion. The Boston Celtics, $6.1 billion. They also sold this year. Number 5 in this list are the Suns and the Mercury. That's all package deal. Just throwing the WNBA team. That's like a BOGO. Buy one, get one free, basically. You're getting the Mercury for free. $4 billion. Mark Cuban sold the Dallas Mavericks. That's number 6 all-time highest sale. $3.5 billion. The Hornets sold for Michael Jordan for $3 billion in 2023. The Brooklyn Nets sold for $2.35 billion in 2019. I mean, if you still keep going down, it's like, and then if you add the top 13, then you're adding the Houston Rockets sale. You're adding the Clippers sale. These teams have value. That's my point on this. These NBA teams, these professional sports leagues, especially football and basketball, with their lucrative TV deals, are worth a shit ton of money. They're worth a lot, guys. And there's some interesting conspiracies, though, that I want to maybe talk about with this Lakers sale. The timing is interesting. You have the big Luka trade, which will go down as probably the worst trade ever in NBA history from the Mavs perspective. The most lopsided trade we've ever seen, arguably in all of professional sports in the States. And then you have the sale, which makes you think, right? Makes you think. You put on that tinfoil hat. I saw this post. I'm going to pull it up here. Makes you think. Where do we got it here? Here it is. Where is this? Here it is. I saw this tweet yesterday. Adam Silver orchestrated the Luka trade pre-Lakers sale in order to raise the values of NBA franchises so that the expansion teams are worth more. So this is very interesting. This is a really interesting perspective right here. That the idea is that basically Luka goes to the Lakers, therefore it increases their value. Therefore they sell for more, which then raises everybody else. So if the Lakers are worth more, then all 29 teams in the NBA are worth more, which also means the expansion franchise teams would basically be worth more. Look, here's the thing. This is all obviously just some dude posting, just some tweet. It's an interesting conspiracy, though. I don't hate it. There could be legs to this. That's what I'm saying. There could totally be legs to this. You know why? Because from a financial view, from just a purely monetary aspect, it lines up. Right? The end game here is to make money, guys. The end game is to make money. That's all these leagues are trying to do. I don't know if this shit's fixed. None of us know. We don't know, but the NBA always gets the most traction as far as a fixed league. All the conspiracies. And it all goes back to, things that have happened. The Tim Donaghy, all these things, certain drafts. There's been evidence to back it up, so to speak. So it's not a crazy idea to think, hey, they knew the Lakers were going to be sold. Jeannie Buss, the Buss family, said they wanted to be sold. They wanted to sell the team. It's not a crazy idea to think, hey, let's make this trade happen. Let's increase their value. And then the franchise expansion teams are going to be even more and bring in even more money. And here's a wild one I saw under that tweet. Where is it? I think I saw under that tweet was that it looped in another conspiracy that LeBron, it was connecting like a conspiracy with Jeannie Buss and LeBron buying the new expansion Las Vegas basketball team, right? Obviously, LeBron plays for the Lakers. Maybe him and Jeannie Buss have concocted this whole thing with Adam Silver. Let's increase everybody's value. Now, obviously, they would have to pay more for an expansion team. But that's kind of part of this conspiracy that the Lakers are conspiring with Adam Silver, raise the valuation. Then we're going to have like a whole LeBron thing. Because you've heard the LeBron chatter forever, right? You've heard the LeBron James chatter that he's going to buy the expansion Vegas NBA team if they go to Vegas, which all signs point to that. It's an interesting discussion, to say the least. I'm here for it. I'm here for all the conspiracies about all this. But again, it's, for me, I liked that the Buss family owned the Lakers. I liked the history. I liked how Jerry Buss revolutionized the sport. He was a founding father. If you look, like you talk about the founding fathers of the country or whatever, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, like he's one of those dudes for the NBA. He's on the Mount Rushmore. He's a founding father. And I know things happened when he died, and then there was a fight with his kids, and eventually Jeannie Buss took over. She handled control. Look, they won another title. They got LeBron under her watch. They got Luka. They got Anthony Davis. She did a lot of good things, I felt. Now, whether that was all staged, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I just know that the Buss family, you could argue, was the most influential family in the NBA history. So I understand them being sold, and that's the way it's going. These teams are selling to these rich billionaires who come from a massive portfolio, and that's how it works. I get it. We'll see. We'll see. I keep seeing things that say the Lakers now will have even more money to spend, whereas they couldn't spend as much before because it was just that's the only business they had, right? The Lakers were their business. They didn't have money from a private equity firm or oil tycoon or any of that shit. They didn't have that. So the Lakers had to be smarter with their money, which is a great segue to bring Justin Wood on because we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and money, and the Brown family doesn't have a side business. They don't have a side hustle, right? They just got the Bengals, and that's how they make their money. So let's bring on Randy Ruther.
Am I good? Am I good?
You're doing a mic check.
Probably should do that before I came on.
What's up, Grizzly Adams?
Oh, dude, I am hungover as fuck, dude.
Talk to me. What happened?
You ever have those nights? Remember when you drank when you're like, all right, we'll do like 1 or 2 drinks and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's the lights are coming on at Q's of all places on Will. It's like, oh, this has been a problem. We are closing down Q's on a Wednesday.
You went back to Q's, huh?
I went back. Everywhere else was closed. We're like, hey, Q's is open.
How often are we spending our time at Q's?
Oh, that's the first time I've been to Q's in months. Q's, it's not the same Q's as when you used to be here. It's all moved further down Wilshire. I am the mayor of Wilshire. I have that title in all the bars now.
You're the mayor of Wilshire.
Yeah, I walk into bars on Wilshire and they're like, mayor's here. So
what,
I'm like, I'm Norm. I've turned into Norm.
So you basically, the bartenders?
All of them.
All of them.
Thunderbird, O'Brien's, Sonny's, JP's. Like I always do that crawl right there.
So I didn't want to have to do this, but we'll do this. So I'm actually here to have an intervention with you.
Is anybody else here? Like
we're not doing a podcast. Yeah. Prano ditched your intervention. I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, he's hanging out with Jay Moore at that Laker money now.
Exactly. Obviously, Prano is going to come on. We'll talk about this when he's back.
Yeah.
What's the vibe out there? Talk to me. What's the vibe? I gave my little spiel of just how important that Jerry Buss was and the Buss family for not just the Lakers, but for the NBA, the history. Like, what's the vibe? I said it's kind of bittersweet for me. I loved it. I loved what they did.
That's what they're saying out here too. And I got the tail end of you. They said when you said there were people last night. They're like, dude, we have so much more money to spend. And I was like, where? Like, you just have all this. They're like, trust me, man, Giannis or Jokic this offseason. I'm like, okay.
So that's what I was seeing too. Everybody's saying they got more money to spend. And I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, you guys got every major free agent ever. like you got Shaq. You traded to get Kobe. You gave Kobe the max deals. You brought in, now it didn't work the first time, but like you brought in Dwight Howard. You brought in all those old guys when they were at the tail end of their career, the Karl Malones, the Gary Paytons. You brought in LeBron. You brought in Luka. You brought in Anthony Davis. When they're like, the Lakers have more money to spend. I'm like, well, that's my thing. Like, having star power was never an issue for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right.
I understand the sale from their perspective.
For sure.
It's like Jeannie Buss is 63. Obviously she's still going to be the quote unquote governor, which I still don't really fully understand of the team.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just making titles up. That's like me giving myself the title mayor of Wilshire. I was never voted the mayor of Wilshire.
You earned it though.
Yeah, exactly. So if Jeannie wants to play the same game that I'm playing, yeah, why not be King governor? I don't know.
What's more important? What do you think? What do you think has more class to it? The mayor of Wilshire or the governor of the Lakers? Like, what gives better prestige?
I mean, she gets courtside seats to Lakers games, and I get a free drink at JP's. So obviously, I'm winning this game.
So, like, what time did you start yesterday?
Well, I was doing Uber Eats last night, and that was the other thing is I was like, okay, I got my car. I'll stop by for 1 or 2, and then I'm just going to go home because I actually have a show tonight, and I hate being hungover, like during shows. And dude, I woke up. So I'd say we started at like 9:30 or 10, like, because
Okay.
I was just, like I said, I was just driving home, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll stop by for 1 or 2 and then just finish my night. And nope, car stayed there, just got it back.
That was my, like, the 1 or 2, that was a lot of my time when I lived in Las Vegas.
Yeah, no shit.
It was, especially when I worked down at Caesar's Palace, because I was already on the Strip, right? It
Yeah,
was you
yeah,
know what it was? It was because you always had somebody in town. You always had
yeah,
a high school buddy, a college buddy, a family member, and it was always like, "Hey, man, I'm in town. You wanna meet me for a drink?"
yeah.
And there, it's even worse because there it was always you'd be walking out of Spearmint Rhino at 6 AM. You'd be like,
Yeah.
"God damn, I ended up at the strip club tonight?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I know exactly the feeling, like, my car would be in the employee parking garage at Caesar's Palace, and I'm like, "Oh, man, this again?"
I woke up at 7:30 AM just needing water, and I was like, "Do I just call off my show now?" Like, do I text Andy like, "Dude, I can't do this today." Text the West Side Comedy Theater like, "I can't be there tonight."
Hey, man,
But now I'm like, "Okay, I'm good. I had my coffee."
you're powering through, and I'll tell you what, this is important because I said to start the show, we actually haven't because I don't wanna hijack, like, here's my thing on dirty sports. I don't wanna turn it into, like, a Bengals thing, even though I think you'd agree, the Bengals contract stuff has been huge national news,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and we
Like,
haven't talked about it once.
I have friends talking to me about it now, and usually, I mean, we'll chit chat Bengals here and there, but there's definitely more chatting now about the Bengals right now.
Well, the reason it's interesting, especially with their first round pick, Shamar
Yeah.
Stewart, is because we've never really even seen something like this in recent memory, as
No.
far as why he hasn't signed the contract, right?
Yeah.
And why he's not practicing. So, to kind of catch everybody up to speed, if you haven't followed, their first round pick, 17th, what was he, 17th overall,
Yeah.
edge rusher, defensive end, Shamar Stewart, he has not signed his contract because of certain language in the contract.
Yeah.
So basically, correct me if I'm wrong here. The Bengals they've never done this before. So they're trying to set a precedent moving forward for their draft picks. They're basically saying his guaranteed money would be void if, let's say, he got in trouble off the field or got an injury off the field. They
Yeah.
wouldn't have to pay him the guaranteed money.
Yeah.
That's basically what the Bengals are saying. Now, to be clear, a lot of teams already have this.
Yeah.
And that's important. So a lot of teams in the NFL have this in their contracts. Hey, we don't have to pay you. If you get arrested or if you get a DUI or if you shred your knee playing pickup basketball or jet skiing, whatever it is, we don't have to pay you. So a lot of teams have this. The Bengals have not, and they're wanting to do this now, which, by the way, is understandable.
Right.
But also his side is understandable, is that he's saying, why are you starting this with me?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what he's saying, Justin?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't do this with your pick last year. You didn't do this with your pick before the year before. I'm not going to be the guy who you start this clause with.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm torn. I see both sides of this. Like, and I'm, a huge Mike Brown hater and usually think 99.9% of the shit he does is, I mean, I just don't even watch the news anymore. It's like politics. I'm like, I'm done. I can't watch this train wreck anymore until week 1. But I get what he's doing. Like, I get it. Like, I'd be pissed if I was an owner and I lost my first round pick because of a basketball injury or a jet ski accident or something.
Yeah.
Like, but the thing is that I want to tell Shamar Stewart, or not that I want to. The thing about Shamar Stewart is, like, it has to start somewhere. Like, yeah, it sucks. The timing made it you, but if this is what they want to start implementing now, like,
so that's the thing from his perspective is that, and this is what he said, and obviously, this about 10 days ago, 9 days ago,
yeah,
what he said on June 10th went viral.
yeah,
He said, I'm 100% right. It should be a no-brainer as far as this whole process. in Trey's case, talking about Trey Hendrickson, it should be a no-brainer too. And he's right, what he says right here. I'm not asking for nothing y'all have never done before, which is true.
Yeah.
But this is really interesting. He's going at his new team before he even signed the contract. But y'all just want to win arguments more than winning games, in my opinion. Damn.
Yeah.
So he's not even on the Bengals.
Yeah.
And he's saying, you don't even care about winning games. And I'm like, I'm hiding out in the corner. I'm like, oh, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
It's everything I've been preaching forever. They don't give a shit about winning games.
You're the Brad Pitt. You're the Brad Pitt meme where he's pointing at the screen.
Oh, the Leo DiCaprio?
Yeah, Leo DiCaprio. My bad.
Yeah.
That's you pointing at the screen like
that is me. But like you said, I do agree too. It's like the Bengals at a certain point have to modernize it. Here's what's interesting. They've hurt themselves by not modernizing their contract. And now that they finally are, they also, and I've seen some interesting things about this, I'm sure you have too, they probably didn't choose the right time. Why would you choose to do this when you have a holdout on the runner-up for the Defensive Player of the Year, the guy who's gotten the most sacks the last 2 years combined in the NFL, and Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah.
And you have a rookie who you need, who you drafted to literally play right away, even if Hendrickson was playing.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, maybe choose a year where you're like, oh, we don't need this guy to come in right away.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
I haven't heard, but I wonder if that's in every other rookie this year's contract, like people that were drafted in later rounds.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of things. Again, I haven't seen specifics, but I've seen things that say a lot of teams have this language.
Yeah, yeah.
In their contracts. Now, this doesn't affect the pay, just so everybody knows. The pay scale is already set where you're drafted. That's, the NBA does the same thing based on the NFLPA negotiations, based on the last labor agreement contracts. So he's already guaranteed up to $19 million in his first contract, $10 million guaranteed. Right. Yeah. So like that doesn't affect this. It's the void money if he does X, Y, and Z. Now, obviously the Bengals drafted Jermaine Burton last year, who was a head case off the field, which hindered him on the field. So I think that's part of it.
For sure.
It's just like, I want to ask your vibe right now, because I kind of have an I told you so going on with some friends. And I'm like, the Bengals just want to avoid a shit start. And they have 2 very, very winnable games. But I'm like, I thought the same thing last year with the Patriots.
Same.
My vibe right now is, here we go again.
Yeah. It just seems that as a Bengals fan, we can never and this is since Burrow's been here, we can never just have a quiet offseason with like happy players.
Yeah.
And it gets annoying. Like last year was, you don't have an offense without these receivers. And then this year you don't have a defense without these 2 defensive guys. And it's like, God damn, Mike Brown, are you not noticing the common denominator in all of this? Like, you just released Jermaine Pratt, who, I get where that money's going to go, how that could help. Like, as one part of me is like, okay, here's more money. And now all of a sudden there's new contract negotiations going on. But at the same time, if you don't have him signed, Jermaine Pratt, he's not like, a game-changing defender, but he
led the team in tackles last year.
On the Bengals defense, he sure as fuck is.
Yeah, so it is interesting. Like, he led the team in tackles. He obviously was a huge cog in that 2-year run where he made the Super Bowl and then the AFC Championship. And I get it. He's lost a step. He missed a lot of tackles last year. It's it just goes back again to the same trope of, and he's calling it out, man. He's calling it out as a rookie. And here's what's interesting. He's saying the vets have my back. Like, that's what was so telling to me, was like, I think people have reached their limit with the organization. And it's like, they don't play, and I'm sure you get this vibe too. The Joe Burrows or any of these guys, they don't give a fuck about the Brown family or Katie Blackburn. It's like they play for each other to win.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that holds true to a lot of NFL organizations or teams, but I think a lot of guys like playing for maybe their owner or their coach or whatever it is. And I just don't get that sense with them. It's just, it's tough to see this stuff play out and you go, well, how can this prove that you do care about winning?
Yeah. What's wild is in 2022, I don't know if you remember the episode where it was when the Bengals were getting ready to head to the AFC Championship for the first time. And we were at Prano's apartment, and I was with Prano, and I snuck on the episode. Like, we surprised you. Like, Prano just stood up right away. Then I came in like many episodes ago.
Yeah.
But I made the comment on that show that the Bengals are a real life version of that movie Major League. Like, it's just the players winning. Like, the coaches are trying their hardest. So
100%.
And it's just like the players just have pretty much like, hey, we got to be here for each other. We're not getting any. Like Higgins, I'm still surprised didn't walk. Like, even when they after they offered him the money, I was like, this is really going to tell me, does he really like playing for the Bengals?
Yeah.
Or is he going to go somewhere? And also, when he made that signing, I want you to see this real quick. Yep, autographed T. Higgins helmet right there, baby. Look at that, the white one.
You got the white Bengals helmet.
That's a good one. Inscribed with a Who Day. Inscribed with a Who Day. So the day he signed, I was like, all right, I need a T. Higgins helmet.
You look at that every day and it gives you a little funny feeling down in your pants?
No, that's the full-size Joe Burrow helmet sitting on my on my TV stand.
So how are we feeling about this bet now, Justin? We have a
still good. Still good.
We have $100 bet that the Bengals, you think they win the division, and I don't.
Yeah.
You still feel good about that?
Still feel good about it. It's the off season, you know.
Man.
Last time I bet $100 on the Bengals, they won the AFC North. I did that through Vegas and won $2,100. The same year as our bet.
Okay, so here's my thing on the bet. I like your optimism. First of all, I like your optimism. Yeah. I think you're delusional.
Hey, you know, it's not the first time.
You know, I see things in the news, and obviously we'll talk about it right now as we look at other teams and just kind of talk overall NFL. And we'll start within their own division. And to me, this is the difference between like a Bengals run organization.
Yep, I already know where you're going.
You already know what it's like. It's like the Ravens add Jair Alexander, who's obviously been injured a lot, but it's like they go bargain bin shopping. The most he can make is $6 million. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's saying, even if he only plays 8 games, and I agree, it's like you're adding so much depth to a secondary that's already good, really good secondary. And you get a guy who chose to play with his former college teammate in Lamar Jackson, chose to take a discount because he knows he's going to hardball. And again, we talk about the Patriot way back in the day with Belichick. It's like the Raven, you know what you're getting with the Ravens. He's like, I'm going to go to a team with a good defense. And this is a late signing, signing June 18th, June 17th. Yeah. And to me, that's the difference. And that's why when we have this bet, I go, that's how the Ravens run it. That's how traditionally like a Steelers run it. And the Bengals have had some squads for sure, but I'm like, that's why I feel just as confident from my side of the bet. I'm like, they're only getting better by adding, again, quality players at a bargain rate.
I can tell you right now who the Bengals' next big free agent signing is going to be.
Who's that?
Henry Ruggs. Is that not the most Mike Brown move ever?
He's currently serving some time. I saw he issued an apology.
Yeah, and he said in an interview, he's like, I'm staying in shape. I'm ready to play when I get out.
Shut up. He said that?
Yeah. They had he had like a sit-down interview in this like beautiful studio. I'm like, yo, what jail are you in? That looks way nicer than any podcast I've ever been on.
That's hilarious.
No offense.
None taken.
He should be the one on StreamYard, not on. This dude just sitting on like, it looked like a fucking late night television set. Like, what the hell?
Speaking of sets, what's the what's the bull? Is that a bull? Is that a cow in the background? You
Oh
painting?
yeah. That's because I got a fat cat that looks like a dairy cow. That's where her scratch pad and everything is over there. I like this guy behind me though. I like the how do I fuck?
We got a Sly. Is that a Stallone?
Yeah, how do I get back there? Yeah. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I got that at my old job.
That's a John Rambo, right?
Yep. And then I got the thing. I got a Ted Williams autograph. I got Muhammad Ali autograph in the living room. This is bachelorhood, I was in a relationship for 9 years and I got my own apartment. I'm like, I can hang up whatever the fuck I want now. This is amazing.
Oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir there.
Yeah.
Like I'm now in this, I've lived with someone now for 3 years.
Yeah.
And you talk about a learning curve, man.
Yeah.
I was saying this on the Andy Ruther show this week. I was like, I lived alone, basically, not even roommates. Like I basically lived alone as an adult until I was 40.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to balance living with somebody. And then you throw in two young kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
That's wild. That's wild. Hey, but then for me, it's the opposite. Like
Exactly.
I've been like, that's a reason I go out. Like I can go out like last night. They were just like, hey, stop by. And I'm like, well, the cats are fed. I don't have to get home to that shit. Like,
how many cats you got?
2.
You're like you're on a trajectory. We might have to have a cat intervention, dude. Like, are you a cat lady at this point?
No. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. So I rescued the one, and she's cool.
Did it have anything to do with the Cincinnati Bengals being cats?
Yeah. I wanted to rename them T and Jamar, but I don't know. But I had the one, and then I started we moved into here because I used to live with Johnny Cardinelli over in North Hollywood in this house. So when we had to downsize and come to an apartment, I was like, I'm going to get her a kitten. So I called the rescue center that I got her from. And then they're like, look, we know this is weird. If you want to try it. The woman who rescued her sister, her littermate sister, is moving or something and unable to keep her. She's like, do you want to see if they happen to remember each other? Because it was 2 years later. Dude, these fuckers are like best friends running around everywhere. And just makes my life easier because they just keep each other busy. And I'm like, cool. And I don't feel bad when I go to Prano's house for the weekend to watch his dog. Because I was like, oh, you guys got each other.
Are you more of a cat person than a dog person?
In Ohio, no. In a backyard, no. I'm more of a dog person. But when you just live in an apartment like this, cats are way more easier.
So it's based on your circumstance.
For sure. Joe has that big ass Great Dane. I would love to have Bob's the coolest dog in the world, but there'd be no way in hell I could have him. And I got a pretty big 1 bedroom, but
yeah, okay. I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm I don't know if you know my stance. I'm very anti-cat.
Yeah.
I'm anti.
Yeah, you hate the Bengals. That's the reason you hate the Bengals.
Joe always says secretly I really don't, man, at this point.
You do.
You think I do?
For sure.
Do you think you're saying you think I'm secretly rooting?
You're like a jealous ex-boyfriend that you still really love them, but you want validation that you made the right move.
No, I'd be honest about it. Like it doesn't mean I can't appreciate Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase or
for sure.
I just love the game, but it's like it was funny, obviously I do work for Gold Star, and now that they're not the official chili anymore, that also changed it. I was like,
talk your shit, Andy. Talk your shit. Dude, you posted something the other day on Threads that was like, not only do we have great chili, but we have the best burger in town. I said what I said.
I talk shit, man.
Yeah, I screenshot it, and I was like, I sent it to Prano. I was like, I read this in Andy's voice. I was like, that's Ruth.
Dude, they're great. They let me do my thing as an
it.
admin on those accounts.
I love it.
they do let me talk shit.
Yeah,
And knock on wood right now, the as I talked to Justin Wood, the CEO likes me a lot. So it's
that's
like,
great.
I mean, God knows I'm in all those damn videos. But no, but it's true. Like they obviously had a partnership with the Bengals for all those years, and then it went to Skyline Chili here, and I was like, Skyline is just like, it's obviously number one. Like I can
Yeah,
say that it's no problem as far as stores and sales and restaurants, but God, their social is like so corny too, man.
they
Like
suck.
it's
They
it's it's just it's corny. Joe made a great point. What were we talking about last episode when he was talking about like, oh, Major League Baseball, and it's like corny women like calling the shots.
yeah,
And like that's what Skyline's brand is. It's like I already know. I don't have to know
that's it. Skyline already has the branding. Like they already have
100
the name.
100%.
And yeah, their marketing is fucking awful. Like they just ride
Doesn't
on
matter.
they already ride on their success. Like
Yeah. It's all interesting stuff. I find that world fun, to be honest. But back to your boys. You're feeling just as confident. Dude. You know what? I don't know if I'm willing to say this. I'm not willing to bet this.
don't say we're gonna finish third. Don't
You knew it.
don't
You
go
already
there.
knew it. Am I
Behind who?
buying? Am I
Behind
buying
who?
the Aaron Rodgers Steelers?
I don't
You know what it is? You know what I'm buying? I'm not buying that it's MVP Aaron Rodgers. I'm buying that you're an upgrade for Russell Wilson. I think in big game moments you can still do it. I don't think Russ really can. And I think you're going to minimize some of those awful Russ turnovers. And the Metcalf is an upgrade, man.
right. I'll say this. I think in 3-4 years, Will Howard's the best quarterback to come out. And I'm not saying that for being an Ohio State fan. I think Will Howard's gonna be the best quarterback out of all the quarterbacks that went this year.
Shut up. You really think that?
Yeah. And that's me saying that about a Steelers quarterback. Like usually I say after Ohio State, if you go to another AFC North team, you're dead. Like you're dead to me. Like I don't care about you anymore. But Will Howard's a stud, dude.
Interesting about that. I don't think we'll be in the league in 3 or 4 years.
You don't think so?
I don't know. He just did. And again, I don't watch enough college football. I saw him live. I did go to the Ohio State Nebraska game last year, which wasn't a good game for them.
No. You pick besides the Michigan game, probably the worst game of the season.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, he turned it on in the college playoffs for sure.
He did.
But we've also had many quarterbacks besides Stroud that look NFL ready, and then they get to the league and they like Stroud kind of broke the curse for us for a little bit.
Are you ready to? Because I'm not. Are you ready to bet against the Chiefs as far as like making another AFC title?
No. Here's the thing. And I'm friends. I have a bunch of Chiefs fans for friends. Every year, every team has one game where they shit the bed. Like I can't believe that we played.
Yeah,
like
a lot of times 1 or 2. I mean, it's a 17-game schedule.
The Chiefs just happened to unfortunately have that game in the biggest game of the season.
Yeah.
Like I think if you run it back, I still think they could beat Philadelphia.
I do. That you bring up an interesting scenario there. I think if they play 10 times, I'll be honest. I still think the Eagles win at least 7 of them. I just think they're that dominant.
I would say, yeah, that's not outlandish to say, but there could have been. I think Philadelphia might have played one of their best games that game too. You know what I
agree.
mean? Like it was.
I agree.
It was definitely what's it called? Murphy's Law for the Chiefs that game. Like everything was going wrong for them.
I think Murphy Lee had a rap album. Fun fact. Do you remember rapper Murphy Lee?
Yeah, dude. Saint Lunatics.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kansas City, they're all
St. Louis. Yeah. He was a St. Louis rapper. He had a rap album titled Murphy's Law. Funny that I know that. So that's my thing, Justin. I think in a way it's good. We're back to Chiefs before they won their last Super Bowl. Remember? It was like people really weren't. It was bizarre. It's like they almost fly under the radar. It's like you see all the headlines of Lamar Jackson being like, I can't get the the loss to the Bills out of my mouth, and you hear the talk about the Bills, and then of course the Bengals are always a good storyline just because they have such a potent offense and they have stars, and it is interesting. So it's weird. Like I saw the Travis Kelce headline saying how shitty he played in the Super Bowl, like he was owning it. But again, I feel like it's a weird time that the Chiefs just continue to fly under the radar in this offseason. And I'm like, Patrick Mahomes has played in the AFC title game. You know, it's very LeBron-esque every single year.
Yeah,
he started.
It's Chiefs fatigue is what everyone's getting now. Like they've turned into the new Patriots where everyone's just like looking for, oh, the refs are giving them this call, the refs are giving them that. And I find myself doing that when they play the Bengals, like, oh, of course they're getting them. But then when they play every other team, I'm like, shut the fuck, dude. You think the NFL is really going all in on a team in Kansas City? Like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, I don't buy into any of that conspiracy for sure. I do think, a stat that I always like to bring up, because me, I love like the historical stats, and I love the precedent. Is you have it with Lamar, this stat. You have Lamar and Harbaugh, you'll have Burrow and Taylor, and you'll have Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. Of nobody's ever won a Super Bowl after 5 years with that coach. Like that's interesting because you have 3, right? So you have 3 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Who have a possibility to break that historical fact.
Yeah.
And it is an interesting one, which is basically saying like, dude, you got to win a chip within the first 5 years with that coach. And normally it's like, you got to get a new coach. Normally it's not move on from the quarterback, right? Because those are 3 franchise QBs. So like that always just kind of floats in the back of my head where I'm like, okay, is one of these 3, because we've never had a better chance to break this, is one of these guys going to break it this year or next year? And then I always think, oh, you think the Bengals will?
No. I'm saying, that is interesting. Right.
It's like, it's an interesting stat. And then you look like Jalen Hurts got his chip with Sirianni, I think year 3 or 4 together. It's like, obviously Mahomes and Andy Reid got so many chips right away. It's interesting because then I look at other guys and I'm like, okay, Justin Herbert laid an egg in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm wearing a Chargers hoodie, I'm like,
for sure.
In my head, I'm like, you definitely, you went down a few notches for me, but I'm also in my head, I'm like, to go back to that stat, I'm like, okay, you're just year 2 with Harbaugh, right? This is 5 years. So it's like, do they surprise people from the AFC? And you got all these question marks, and it just makes for such an exciting conference, in my opinion.
I think, the whole, like, Herbert and the Chargers, I think, they can still turn things around. I wonder about Jacksonville. Like, I'm like, is it, but I think people are trying to put the Chargers now with the Jaguars, like, in that little tier. And I'm like, no, like, they're still, I just don't see Jacksonville turning it around. And I'm glad that we play them early this year. But
is that in Jacksonville? That's in Jacksonville, right? Or that's in Cincinnati?
I think it's in Cincinnati.
Yeah, because the first one is in Cleveland, right?
Yeah. And you remember back in the days, like, oh, thank God we're playing in Cleveland. Now it's like, oh shit, we're playing in Cleveland.
Well, they've kind of been Burrow's kryptonite, to be honest.
Yeah. But then, like, we had Kitten at quarterback. We're like, yeah, we're playing in Cleveland. We're good to go. But now we got Joe Burrow. It's like, oh shit. That's the thing, Andy. Like, that's what kills me about your relationship with the Bengals, because we won't call you a fan, but this might be talent-wise like one of the funnest Bengals teams that we've ever got to cheer for. And I'm like, poor Andy, he went through Achilles, Klingler, Kitna. Like, you went through some bad
no, for sure. They offensively, yeah.
Yeah, defensively, hell no, it's not.
But also, like, dude, those Carson Palmer years with
2000,
Hoosh, with TJ Houshmandzadeh, Ocho Cinco, Rudy Johnson, like,
Yeah. No, those were. You're right. You're right. That 05, like in that time frame, like, and coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Sure.
Palmer doesn't get his knee shredded that first possession of that game. Like that Bengals team could have easily made a playoff run.
I agree. I think they could have.
The defense was stacked. The offense was incredible. It was just every play Palmer dropped back, just lobbed the ball downfield. You never knew, oh, shit, who's going to be under this one? Because there's Ocho, Hoosh, and Henry were all huge deep ball threats.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's why it's troubling as we've come full circle to see right now of the win now window, the Super Bowl or bust. And in my opinion, they don't care enough. It's like they're almost distracted. You have the stadium contract negotiations going on with the city and the county, and you got you know what I'm saying? You got all this other stuff, and it's like, I'll just say this. And I'm gonna have to bring on Ryan Klatt here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
No, but here's my thing, Justin. It's like, what did I say to you? I said, if I'm again, obviously, I'm just a dude doing a podcast in my basement. But if I'm the Bengals, I'm signing Hendrickson first.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No. I said that too. I think I told you that. I was like, they really mishandled like those 3 contracts.
Right? Like, I'm signing him first because you're going to be more prone to get all 3 signed if you signed the quote unquote least sexy of them, right? The sexy wide receivers are what people want to see. So I'd sign Hendrickson first because the fans definitely have an effect, I think, on these owners across the league.
For sure.
And it's just like, look, do I think Trey Hendrickson is on the Bengals roster week 1? Yes, I still do.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Like, what do you think?
I do. And me and you have said this. Carson Palmer had Carson Palmer money and had to retire to go. And the Bengals still let all that happen. Trey Hendrickson doesn't have that Carson Palmer money to do that. And I think the Bengals find a way to get it done. And I think, I was watching McAfee yesterday, and I don't know how true this is. The Bengals are just trying to get like a 1 or 2 year deal with them. And he's like, no, dude, 3 or 4 is like where I need to be. And the Bengals are just like, you're not a young player anymore. Yeah. But his stat line's like, hey, he deserves this. But it's like, do you pay? I don't know.
No, for sure. Well, look, man, before I let you go, I just want to say, one thing. This is my recommendation for you tonight. I think you get a little hair of the dog. You drink some Miller Lite.
Oh, dude, of course.
So what I think is I'll pull it up here on the screen. You can even have it delivered. MillerLite.com/dirty sports. Guys, this is the time. Justin knows this. This is the perfect time of year to grill out and have some Miller Lite, right? Like we're in grill season. Summertime, dude, it's like 90 degrees here. Get that grill going. Get the burgers going. The hot dogs. I'm a brat guy. I don't know about you. I'm a brat guy.
Yeah, you're Ohio. Brats. That's my go-to. Mustard only.
I get these jalapeno cheddar brats.
Had them. They're good.
They're so good, guys. Miller Lite. Get it. Grill it. You know what to do. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time, Justin.
Damn.
50 years. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Have a Miller tonight. Get ready. It'll get you nice and warmed up for your set.
We got it. Westside Comedy Theater. It's a fun venue. I love that venue.
It is a fun venue.
So yeah, and it's within distance for me too, so I don't have to go across town.
Well, I'm glad that you could make a noon appearance.
We did it.
Glad you could get up.
I couldn't find my sunglasses, so this has been
You
We're
keep
good.
growing that beard out. You could come back to the Midwest for Christmas and be Santa Claus.
That's, I've heard that, and I'm actually gonna give it a good trim today. I've just not been doing shit.
Okay.
So,
Well, Justin, good having you
all right.
on. We appreciate it, and I look forward to taking what $100 from you.
Well, just we'll talk about that. So, all right, we'll
Justin.
see you, buddy.
Good seeing you, buddy.
You too.
Hey,
See
real
ya.
quick.
Yep.
Can I get a who day?
Who day? You get them all day, baby. Look, it even says who day on that helmet. It even says who day on that. I hate how these work. How do I do it? Look at that. Who day? T. Higgins, number 5. Who day?
Love it. All right, man.
We're still here.
You have a good weekend, all right?
All right, pal. See you
later, bud. All right. Good to have Justin on. We're going to go back-to-back guests here, guys. We're going to, I've been chomping to get the clatter back on. So have the Dirtballs. I've seen it. You guys want it. We had a Stanley Cup final. I think we had him on right before, or maybe after it was tied 1-1, and Panthers went on to win another one. Let's bring on Ryan Klatt here.
Andy Ruther.
You get me solo, fam.
It's just you and me, hey? I've stumbled into the debt report today, or what?
a little intimate, isn't it?
Yeah, no, this is all right. But I love how Joe is gone, and it's June. Like, we got NBA Finals of baseball, and you're like, Bengals. We're talking Bengals. Like, you're unbelievable.
Well, you know what? Obviously, we focused on Bengals with him. I felt like, here's the thing. I felt like nobody's been talking, or we haven't been talking, because I've been holding off about just the debacle that like everybody has been. I'm even surprised Prano wasn't like, hey man, every national news, sports news outlet is talking about the debacle of these contracts. So
Right.
I was like, I'm going to bring on Justin, but look, that's in the past now. We are on to this Stanley Cup final, and God damn it, the drought for the Canadians just has continued. Your country.
Fuck, I know. Like, I had this whole speech prepared for, McDavid and the Oilers finally doing it, and Canada finally doing it, and me coming on and being like, yeah, fucking, the destiny, the stars aligning, all of it happened. I mentioned last time I was on with, Gretzky and Crosby losing a final and then having a rematch the next year winning. So I thought, I'm not making a prediction, but seems like McDavid, just the chosen one, is going to have this happen, and he's going to end the drought. But fucking the Florida Panthers, man, they're just so unbelievably good. They're just in a class of their own.
So yeah, I was going to ask you that. Like they're just basically a juggernaut that they're not going to lose. Is that kind of what it boiled down to?
Yeah, I mean, we can get into how the series went. So it started off like the first 2 games of the final. Now, I don't know if you watched any of it. Did you watch a single second, Andy? 1 second of it?
I gotta make a confession, man. I didn't watch a single second, and I told myself I was going to.
Yeah.
And there were multiple nights where I was like, nah. But you want to hear what's interesting? I was following the box score on all these. Like, what was I doing? What was I doing?
I don't know. Why didn't you? So, well, we could get into what happened. Like,
why have you, Ryan, also? So I'm why watch when I can get the best?
I'm just the safety net.
Yeah.
It's fine. So through the first 2 games, it was looking like this was going to be the greatest Stanley Cup final of all time. It was like, buckle up. Here we go. Like, game 1, Oilers go down early 3-1. They come back, tie it up, and win it in overtime. Just an incredible game. Game 2, just crazy back and forth. The Oilers go up early, then the Panthers take the lead later on, and the Oilers tied it up with like 18 seconds left, go to overtime, and the Panthers wound up winning game 2 in double overtime. So I was like, shit. Well, close to having a 2-0 series lead, but this year's going a lot better than last year, right? Last year, if you recall, the Oilers went down 3-0 in the series right off the bat and had to scratch and claw their way back. So we're like, okay, it's 1-1. It's going better. Game 3, going back to Florida, absolute shit kicking, 6-1 by the Panthers, and you're thinking, this team they're good, man. It's going to be hard, but you know what? Still 2-1. Let's not panic. Game 4, Panthers go up 3-0 in the first period, and it's like, oh my god, like here we go again. Like they don't have it. Now the Oilers wound up coming back and tying the game. They wound up winning in overtime. So it was 2-2 the series, but game 5 and 6, it wasn't even close. Like it was not. It was like a senior team playing a peewee team. Like the Panthers just totally smothered them, and they were just simply the better team all around. They smothered them.
Like, do you think so obviously you talk about game 4 and they had a big lead, and then the Edmonton comes back. Do you think like this could have easily been like a 4 or 5 game series realistically?
Realistically, yeah. Do you look at the 2 games that Edmonton won? They were in overtime.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it's like, well, yeah, Edmonton. I mean, they played well in like game 1 and 2, but other than that, and to come back in game 4, they played well. But other than that, like, yeah, this could have been a 4 or 5 game series. It's even though it started off better than last year, when you look back at this series and how it played out, I mean, they were further away from winning than last year, obviously. And last year went 7. But
what makes the Panthers so good?
Well, started off with depth. So the Panthers, I'll throw a stat at you. I came a little prepared today.
Love it.
The Panthers had 6 players in this playoff run score at least 20 points. That ties an NHL record with the 1985 Edmonton Oilers and the 1983 New York Islanders. A couple of dynasties.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So that right. And then they had a couple. Yeah. So they had 6 guys score at least 20 points. And then they had one guy had 19 points. One guy had 18 points. So that is just some serious depth throughout the lineup. They're getting contributions from everyone.
So I mean, to cross over real quick, it sounds like a Oklahoma City Thunder, where you got just that's their thing is we got a star in SGA, but we just got depth.
For sure, yeah. Just like you're not sending anyone out who's gonna lay an egg. It's just consistent depth throughout the lineup. So that's the biggest thing. And another thing, just their relentless forecheck, and everybody buys into just. Are you familiar with the term forechecking? I should
talk to me. Talk to me.
So, like, if you say the puck goes into the other team's end, and you're just smothering their defensemen, you're not letting them breathe. You're just pressuring them. You're going in after the puck, and you're winning the battle in the other team's corners to get possession of the puck in the offensive zone.
I was say, it's sorry to cut you off. Back in my day, I used to love forechecking some tacos when I was drunk. I would smother that Taco Bell. I would smother those quesadillas. A little different forechecking.
Crunchwrap Supremes didn't stand a chance, did they?
Bro, you can make me go to Taco Bell today.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you. Do you have Taco Bell up where you're at?
Yeah, we have a few. Actually, like recently, like within the last 5 years, Saskatoon got like 3 or 4 popped up. We never really there's Taco Bells in Canada all over, but we never had one in Saskatoon up until 4 or 5 years ago. I will say though, Taco Time, that's like a big chain in Canada. You guys don't have Taco Time?
No, we don't have Taco Time, but I'm interested.
Taco Time, I prefer that to Taco Bell. Maybe that's just a Canadian thing, but yeah. Anyways, that's
I'm sure it's better. You guys don't. Everything's healthier outside of the States. Like you guys probably the Taco Bell. You guys probably look at what we eat and you're just like, you guys are disgusting.
Well, sure, but we have a lot of that. So we don't have nearly as many like burger chains as you guys. Like we don't have like In-N-Out and whatever Shake Shack and Jack in the Box and all. We don't have any of that, but we still got. I mean, who doesn't love a good Don's run, right?
What a great shout out. I think it was his birthday recently. Happy birthday, happy belated to Nick D'Alessandro. I actually just downloaded the Don's app.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know if,
yeah.
well, I was just
Those
like,
points.
well, that's the thing, man. I was with my daughter Isla, and she wanted to get some Dons.
Yeah,
And I was like, let's get some points. Okay, let me try to reel this back into hockey. So basically, the depth, like you're saying, when they're changing the lineup and it's like they're not losing ground. It's like waves. They're just like, we're gonna hit you
yeah.
nonstop.
Coming at you in waves. Like I think like the Vegas team that won a couple of years ago, they were very similar. They just had 4 lines that just came at you in waves, and they were getting contributions up and down. So that's probably the biggest thing. And of course, from my years on the show, I love to talk about goaltending being so important. And that was so key too. They got Bobrovsky back there. He was just a brick wall, so steady. And there was a couple of games where the Oilers got 3 or 4 goals by him, but for the most part, he was just so steady. And Edmonton did not have that with Skinner. Skinner was hot in the middle 2 rounds, and then he's so streaky, man. And his hot streak ran out. He got pulled in a couple games. They actually started Pickard, Calvin Pickard, their backup. They started him game 5. They weren't able to get him to steal a game for them either. They went back to Skinner in game 6, and it was just like, it's like, can you mix in a save every now and then? Like, yeah, the Panthers are so good and they get these, clutch goals, but it's like at some point, if there's a high danger chance, you need your goalie to fucking make a save here or there.
Yeah, I wonder that the goalie, and I always love that you bring up the goalies, because again, it is very comparable to like an ace pitcher in postseason, and how important when you get like a stud pitcher. I wonder how much like the psychology of that plays into it, right? Like you're talking about going from being hot to just sucking, basically. And
Yeah.
it's like I always wonder, a position like that, like I'd assume, and again, this is a guy who doesn't follow. It's like I'd assume then the mental aspect is higher at that position, or more important, I should say, right? Because it's like the yips. Like once you get it in your head, you're like, shit, now I suck.
Yeah.
And that all tracks. It's just, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we went over this. Wasn't Edmonton the actual odds-on favorite? Didn't we go over that?
Yes, they were going into this finals.
Yes.
Which is crazy to look back on now, seeing how the games went. It was just like Florida. There was stretches where Florida just dominated them. If you look at like the amount of time that Florida led in the series and the time that Edmonton led, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it wasn't even close. Like Florida would just get a lead early and they just kept it. So it's surprising. And when we talked about it last time, I was like, oh, that's surprising that Edmonton's the favorite. They had a home ice advantage, but yeah, I mean, and like you said, the mental game with goaltenders, it would affect that position a lot more than any other position for sure. And when you've got just this Russian robot in Bobrovsky,
I love that name, man.
like, do Russians, they don't get rattled ever?
No.
Like they're just like fucking laser beam focus right to the fucking, right to the mug, right?
Has a Russian ever cried? Like a Russian male?
Surely not. No.
I don't even think a Russian female.
Other than, oh yeah, probably not. I mean, other than like Ovechkin, I remember Ovechkin crying when he won the cup.
Although I this isn't Russian, but would this be Russian adjacent? I hung out with a Czech Republic girl a few times.
Okay, yeah.
Would that be considered Russian adjacent?
Yeah, I think so. Like Yager, he's Czech. So I mean,
she cried. I saw her cry. She was basically trying to. Dude, you're bringing me back. That was basically like a cry for help to stay in the country. And I was like, yo, I just met you on Tinder. Like you and I are hanging out having Chinese food, fooling around. Like, I don't know what's happening here.
You got into like a Tony Soprano with his whatchamacallit situation.
Yeah, with his side piece, his what are the Italians called? The Guma,
yeah.
But
Yeah,
great
when he
reference,
wants to
by the
leave
way.
her, that she says she's gonna kill herself, and it's like, oh fuck, like
Yeah. That was by the way, side note as well. Very low maintenance. That's what you got. My advice to any of the younger dirtballs, you find a Russian girl, a Czech girl that's like a nanny. She was like a nanny
yeah,
in Orange County, and it was like, oh, this is our date. You come over and we eat Chinese food and have sex. Like what? Like this is the best date ever. Like we can watch Netflix and eat mouse chicken.
yeah. Is this 2012 Andy Ruther? Is this that era?
What era? No, this would have been good question. This would have been a little later, probably like 2018.
Oh, not that. So it's not like you were smashing her. That'd be like, hang on, I gotta send a fucking Tom Tebow tweet here. Things white folks like.
No, I was sober. I was sober at this point.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, yeah. It would be interesting to break down my life, and Taylor Swift has her eras, right? And
Yeah.
got to get a Taylor plug in there for Prano. Have you ever met anybody who hates her more than Prano? By the way,
No. Simply no. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of, like she is like what she is, right? Like
that's how I
I
view
don't
it.
know. I think Prano's made some good points about her. Like
Yeah.
private
No.
jet from fucking one end of LA to the other is insane. I mean,
Oh,
maybe if I had that much money, I might do it.
Yeah. No, I for sure. I'm not saying I don't disagree with some of his points for sure. It's so funny though. Like you kind of just said, that's how I view it. I'm like, she is what she is. She's like a pop star. Her fan base is cult like, but you could say the same thing about a lot of pop stars fan bases. But I don't know. We don't know. Maybe he's on a mission. Taylor Swift mission. I'm not even gonna say it. Like I'm just saying, like we don't know what Joe's doing.
Yeah, where the hell you were expecting him to be on today?
No. We set this up. He is in New York City. He's working like Fanatics has like some convention, like Fanaticon or something. But he said he's working, but he's not being too specific.
Okay,
So that's why I was like, what's going on here?
planning some assassination for Taylor Swift. He has enough hate at his heart for her that could happen.
If oh, look at that right there. Look at that Miller
Hey,
Lite.
I had to for the last appearance. I was like, yeah, let's crack a crispy Miller Lite.
Where do we go from here, Ryan? Like they've won back to back.
Right.
Which we've seen recently, right? What the Tampa Bay just won back to back.
That's right. Yeah. And I thought like when Tampa was winning those cups, I was like, fuck, this is the best team I've ever seen. And right now, watching this Panthers team, I'm like, fuck, this is the best team I've ever seen. I don't know how they can be usurped, if I'm using that word right. Like they have a couple of like free agents. Sam Bennett, the guy who won the Conn Smythe, his playoff MVP, he led the playoffs in goals. His contract is up. I'm assuming like there are teams that are going to be throwing money at him for sure. But I think he's going to want to stay. I think he'd be willing to take a discount. And the fact that you have no state tax in Florida, that's huge. I think he could take $8 million in Florida and take home just as much money as if somebody else offered him $10 million a year, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously Florida has that much cushion for the cap. It's a huge advantage that Gary Bettman doesn't want to admit. Paul Bissonnette asked Bettman about that on the air, on their broadcast, and Bettman just brushed it aside immediately. He didn't want to touch that. But you'd have to be a fool not to.
Well, I mean, it's a great point. I think in all the sports, it doesn't get talked about enough. Whether it's Florida or Texas or Tennessee, it's like just to name North Carolina, just some of the states off the top of my head that don't have Nevada state income tax. Like, dude, like I was a teacher and then I worked at a casino. I noticed that living in Vegas I was like, oh, on my small checks, I'm like, oh, no state income tax. This is, and we're talking We're not talking millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
interesting that he didn't want to acknowledge it. It's like,
Oh yeah,
it is what it is.
He had all these points backed up. It's like, oh well, Florida struggled for years back in the past. They, it's whatever. But you look, the last 6 teams to represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Final are from Florida. Like,
That's
is that not like weird? Like, obviously they've built good teams. I don't want to, downplay what good of a job the managements have done for those teams, but I mean, it's such a, the weather's nice, no state income tax. And like conversely in Canada, like, look, we get bent over in our taxes in Canada. It's like, I take home like 55 to 60% of what I make. Like it's gross. But yeah, so it's a huge disadvantage there. So,
well, it's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. Like Canada too. That's actually a really great point because obviously there's a lot of Canadian players, which I don't, ever think of. It's like, oh, you just think, oh, that's a perk. But yeah, that's a huge perk if you're not even from here. So I looked it up real quick. The last team, I'm sure you probably already knew this. So the last team was the Islanders that won 3 or more in a row in the early 80s.
Yep, that's right.
So how are we feeling? I did do a little research. I saw that they are the odds-on favorite again.
They are already, yeah.
So the Panthers are already the odds-on favorite. Like, how are you feeling about them three-peating?
I mean, yeah, if any team could do it, they could do it. There's 3 straight finals, and they just every year they've gotten better. Like obviously that first year they made it, they lost to Vegas. It was a learning experience for them. They come back stronger the next year, beat Edmonton, and then this year they look even better. I thought like, with all the hockey they played the last couple of years, it might catch up to them. But they were just able to just keep pushing through, and the acquisitions they got with Brad Marchand from Boston. I still can't believe that Boston traded their captain and heart and soul guy Brad Marchand to a division rival. I mean, they just handed them the cup there. And then they got Seth Jones from Chicago, who is in a really bad situation in Chicago, and everyone was shitting on him and his contract. But I mean, when you're on a bad team as a star defenseman, I mean, you're gonna be caught in vulnerable situations on the ice. And on a team like Florida, who's just so well-rounded, he was such a beast for them. So, yeah, I think their chances of three-peating are good. I don't see any other team in the East being close to them at this point. I'd love to say, my Maple. Oh, we could talk my Maple Leafs quick. They gave them the best series out of everyone. 7 games. They had a 2-0 series lead for them. So I think the Leafs should hang a banner next year. Like
I was just going to ask, is that your participation trophy?
Let's hang a banner for the Leafs next year. Took the Panthers to 7 games, 2025. Lift it up.
So I got to ask you this. We had back-to-back Tampa. Now we have Florida, right? So South Florida. Do you think as a diehard hockey guy, as a Canadian, do you think it's good or bad, or does it matter for the league that you have these? Because I don't, as a guy who doesn't follow, I don't think Florida and hockey, obviously they've been there for a bit, but do you think, just from like a marketing, just from a fan's view, do you think it's good, bad, or just doesn't matter?
I think it is good.
Okay.
It is good. I think the popularity of hockey in Florida has grown. I don't have any numbers to back this up, but I think the numbers or the popularity of hockey in Florida has grown exponentially in the last 6 years that we've had these crazy good runs from Tampa and Florida. Like Florida for years, the Panthers were awful. They were an awful franchise that got no fan support for like most of the 2000s. Like when I was a kid, like they were bad. Then they made the playoffs here and there a couple times, and then they go back to being bad. But, yeah, these southern markets, when they finally do get a good team and, you build that interest and those deep playoff runs, I think they're building a foundation of being popular maybe forever, hopefully.
Well, as you were saying, I think I agree with you. I think you make good points, because I guess the counter to what I'm asking would say, you're always going to have the blue blood cities in the States and then in Canada who are going to love their hockey.
Yeah.
But if you can build new markets and new fans, right? And then just not, like not just NHL, but like the love of hockey in these markets, which is just good for the sport. I think you're right. It probably helps in the long run that kid who's like got that great memory of the Panthers or, Tampa's run or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, like popularity of hockey in Canada isn't going anywhere. So
Exactly.
it sucks that we have this drought, obviously. As I said, 1993, year I was born, that was the last year that we had a Stanley Cup. And it was the fucking Canadians too. Montreal, give me something else, right? So many teams. Other than Canada's drought, I do need to quickly mention before I forget, I got to bring up Corey Perry. I mean, this guy, I feel so bad for this guy. I feel bad for McDavid and Draisaitl too, phenomenal players who have lost in back-to-back cup finals now. But Corey Perry, I mean, if you recall, Andy, remember there was this scandal with him last year? He was on the Blackhawks, and there was rumors that he was banging like Connor Bedard's. And then you had a source, it was like from Jacob Faith, that say that he was banging like Chelios' daughter or something. So this guy is just, they call him the worm, right? Like Dennis Rodman. So he won a cup. He was a longtime Anaheim Duck. He won a cup back in 2007 in like his second year in the league, like 2007. That's a long time ago. He won an MVP in 2011. Like he was a great player for a while on the Ducks. Then he started bouncing around. Went to Dallas, went to Tampa, Chicago, blah, blah, blah. So he has been in 5 of the last 6 finals with 3 different teams. No, 4 different teams. Holy shit. Yeah. Dallas, he went to the finals with Dallas in 2020, Montreal in 2021, Tampa 2022, and now back-to-back with Edmonton. So he's been in the finals 5 times in the last 6 years with 4 different teams, and he's lost every single one of them.
Damn.
So
he's cursed.
He's the Jerry West of hockey, basically. Like, man, I feel so bad for him. How many times do you got to get your heart broken? And,
Look,
he is a cup champ, but like that
I was going to say, at least I know you're saying it was a long time ago. By the way, how old is this guy? 50? Like, damn.
He's 40. So, yeah, he's up there, right? And I'm sure, like, obviously he would have enjoyed his cup a lot back then, but I'm sure he would appreciate it so much more with all this perspective now as a 40-year-old than he would have when he was, this new 21-year-old player in the league.
The thought of being 40 and playing hockey.
Oof.
I mean, I'm just like, I'm struggling at 43 to like give a baby a bottle. I'm like, these guys are just studs.
Yeah, just the work you have to put in, and like, yeah, man, I'm 31, and it's just like, man, I think my hamstring would fucking rip off my bone if I tried. I just like to golf and just like, drink a Miller. It's like, no, I couldn't imagine being in that good of a shape. But
yeah, that's badass right there. I have to. What's that?
He's still effective too.
That's great.
He had a great year this year. He scored 10 goals in the playoffs. He was awesome for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and tries it again for them. Why not?
Yeah.
More kick at the can. But
now, and that's actually, you're leading me to my next question. Where does that leave Edmonton heading into next year?
Yeah. That's a difficult, they've got an interesting situation. I think it's like, they've got some problems on the team. They've got some guys making too much money. Connor McDavid has 1 year left on his deal. So this upcoming season will be his last. He'll be able to sign an extension this summer, but it's like, what number he's gonna command top dollar, obviously. But you look at Florida, and like so many other guys have taken discounts. Like, like their captain, Alex Barkov, like he's the Finnish Sidney Crosby, I call him, just an unbelievable player. Like he's only making, $9 million a year. You probably don't have much perspective of hockey contracts, but like basically 10 million and up, those are the lucrative contracts in the NHL. So for these top guys on their team taking less than 10 million, I mean, that's a discount. And you know, McDavid makes, you know, 12.5 million a year is his current contract. His next one, he's going to get over 15. Draisaitl just played the first year of his contract at 14 million, or maybe this upcoming year will be his first year. Anyways, he'll be making 14. So that's a lot of money in hockey terms for two guys. And you know, their best defenseman Bouchard, he's up too. He's an RFA, so they've got a problem there. And goaltending is an issue. Like, there's no getting around it. Florida has a very steady, stable presence in Bobrovsky, and Edmonton just doesn't have that. And there's not much in the market for the UFAs. So if they do want to address goaltending, it might have to be from a trade. And then I don't know what they trade to get, you know, a steady option in there. So where do they go from here? I mean, try to run it back, I guess. I mean, they were good enough to make it to back-to-back finals. You still have two of the three best players in the world, McDavid and Draisaitl. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, they let two opportunities slip by, and you never know if you're going to get another one. But I think, you know, they've got a good core, so just try it again, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, you see this in sports sometimes when the team makes back-to-back and then they don't win. It's almost like sometimes you need to just blow it up, minus those two guys. But
yeah.
I think that's easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like, you know, especially with financial constraints, and you have to make tough decisions on piecing together a roster. So, you know, before we get out of here, I need a train update. Give me something about the trains. Give me a train update. What's going on the trains these days?
Yeah. So I'm still training as an engineer. So that's going good. I'm enjoying it a lot. Driving trains. I mean, it's just fucking got all this 2 miles of shit behind you, and you're just ripping it around. And yeah, it's pretty fun. Last night I brought in this little sand train. It was short and heavy, so as soon as you got downhill, it just rolled. It just fucking went fast. So you have to kind of be on top of it. Basically, like driving a train, it's just balancing weight. You know, you put it into throttle to start, and then you climb a hill, and then if you start to go downhill, and if your speed starts to get away from you, you throttle down and maybe put on some brake. There's dynamic brake and air brake. I won't get into all that, but it's fun. It's been great so far, and you know, so I was expecting, you know, if everything keeps going well in the next couple months here, you know, by the fall I should be a qualified locomotive engineer. So I'll have that to look forward to.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Growing up before our eyes. Now, when do you officially get to wear the conductor hat?
Well, I can wear that anytime I want. I'm a conductor already.
But, but this is like an elevated level. This is like the doctor, right? This is like the PhD.
Right.
Is that the equivalent?
Yeah, pretty much. And you know, it's funny, when I started listening to the Dirty Sports back in 2014, I was working on my engineering degree. I have a degree in geological engineering. So I was doing that, and then, you know, I got a job in that. It wasn't in geology per se, but it was in you know, project engineering, and I hated it. I was miserable, so I quit, and I just started applying everywhere. And then my wife, who's my girlfriend at the time, she was like, "Hey, the railway's hiring," and I was like, "Ha, funny." She's like, "No, fuck, try it out. You're not doing anything else. Might as well." So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I got on, and you know, 7 years later, I'm still doing it. So it's kind of come full circle now. You know, about to become an engineer again, but you know, a very different kind of engineer, obviously. So
look at you, the Canadian. They talk about the American dream. You have a Canadian dream over there, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's weird, and you know, through it all, the Dirty Sports Podcast was.
Well, we appreciate that, and what a great addition you've been to the show. And I mean, we've talked about it at length before, bringing some nice insight to the show.
Yeah, and I did mention before. I said this was my last ride. This is I wanted to ride off into the sunset this year. I'll call it maybe a soft retire though, because I'm not too satisfied on the way this year went for the Oilers. So maybe if the Leafs happen to win, I'll come on again, or if the
But-
Oilers manage to do it, I'll come on again. But no, I kind of wanted this to be it. And also, if you ever do golf talk with Tug, I'd be totally in for a cameo there. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks a lot for having me on. It was kind of a dream of mine. When 2015, you guys held some auditions, and I tried out, but unfortunately, you had this other fucking Canuck who had a dirty sports tattoo on his ass. I couldn't top that, obviously. So,
well, look, man, it's worked out great. Like I said, you've been a great addition to the show. We're very grateful and thankful, and this is not goodbye. 'Cause I just want to say, especially with Prano not here, like this is not goodbye. We would love to have you back on, and I know
I'm not opposed to a cameo. That's what I say. This is kind of like I'll call it a soft retire, like I said. Yeah, I'm not opposed to a cameo for some golf talk, or maybe some big Canadian Cup final appearance again. But yeah. So
look, you know what you are. You're the rapper. These rappers love to claim they're retiring, and like I don't think they do it as much now. But like, you're younger than me. Like that was a big thing. Like Jay-Z's retiring. I remember I remember that was a big one. And then even in like the late 90s, Master P, early 2000s, he's like, oh, this is my last rap album. I'm like, really? Yeah, I'm
sure.
fine. Yeah, you sure about that?
Yeah.
But look, you're always welcome on. And here's the thing. You have reset the bar. You've reestablished the bar for the Dirty Sports hockey correspondent.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like you've set it so high, we have to go back to where it all started. Like, can we find a current 21-year-old Canadian who's getting hammered?
Yeah, let's find a degenerate out there. Maybe we could challenge. They could challenge me to like a trivia off. Be like, yeah, if you could beat me in hockey trivia, you can be the correspondent or something. I don't know. Like remember Doug Schiavelli though? I mean, that was just. Shout out to Joe Schiavelli for being one of the most just genuinely stupid people. Right? That was some entertainment.
You know what I'll say in his defense? It's just, I'll use the word ignorant. I think when it came to anything pop culture, sports, like, I just think the kids don't, I don't know how to say it, like, because you guys probably aren't that far off in age at this point. Like probably 4 or 5 years. I
remember, he was starting college like when he was leaving the show, right? And I would have been out of university by that
okay
point.
So 4 but he's probably at least mid-20s. My point is, like, I've always said this, kids just, they don't do the homework on which I always love seeing. Like I saw a post the other day, it was like an old clip from Tosh.0, and people were like, oh my, did you see what Daniel Tosh said about women? And I'm like, yeah, that's what comics used to say about women on a funny show in 2012. So
I love, he would always be like, well, that was before I was born. That movie was before I was born. It's like, yeah, man. Like, I watched Star Wars. I watched Jungle Book when I was a kid. Before I was born. Everything that's ever happened in the past. So you could go back and watch
for sure
anything. But anyways, so shout out to him. I will also want to shout out Tom Tebow for I was following him on Twitter back in like 2013, and he was retweeting this comic named Andy Ruther. Andy Ruther guy. So so that's what got me into it. So I wanted to shout him out quick too.
That's hilarious. Wow. The arc, the career arc is funny. Which, by the way, breaking news. We do have a comment. I'm going to pull it up here. Look who's in the chat.
Nick Dale. Wow.
You mentioned Don's. It's like you put out that energy.
Wow.
And Nick D'Alessandro coming in with a great Schiavelli line. Muhammad Ali still gets me.
I mean, just legendary. And you know what was so funny about that? Of all his questions he did on Does Schiavelli Know, he was most confident in that. You played that clip and he was like, That's Muhammad Ali.
He said it with so much conviction.
Yeah. It was like, I'm going to eat your children. I'm going to,
Yeah, that's
break
Mike
into the
Tyson.
law. And he's like, no, that's a Muhammad Ali, obviously. Like, it was crazy.
I agree. That was definitely one of the better bits that I created. And it just, God, you got me going down memory lane. Well, look, Ryan, again, you've been a great part of the show. We've been happy to have you on board all these years and happy to add you as a member of the team. And again, this is not goodbye forever. We'll bring you back and we'll reassess the whole hockey correspondent for the 25-26 season.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it. Glad I could be, a chapter in the show, and I'll leave you with some wise words from the great Stompin' Tom Connors. Okay. Can critically think about these lyrics later because, they're quite profound. He said, good old hockey game. It's the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Love it.
All
Ryan
right.
Cloud, everybody. Good to see you, buddy.
Right.
We'll be in touch, okay?
All right. Thanks again, Andy. And say hi to Joe for me.
Will do. Thanks, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Clatter. Ryan Klatt. What a look at me. I'm gonna get emotional here. What a great I don't want to say final show. He said he's gonna be back, but it's nice to have the guy just has he's got a good point of view. He's got good perspective. I like that. He's introspective on his time listening to Dirty Sports, his time as a correspondent. Love it. Ryan Klatt. Been a pleasure to do it with you, bud. It's been a pleasure, and you've added a lot of value to the show, especially since we don't watch any hockey. I didn't watch a second. Didn't watch a second of the Stanley Cup final, but I don't need to. That's what I got Ryan here for. We do have a hotline. Let's pull this up. 859-832-0478. It's always in the description. Once again, 859-832-0478. We had a call, but I'm going to wait for Prano to get back, and we'll play that one next episode. You guys know where to follow us at The Dirty Sports on all social media. You can follow me at Andy Ruther. Prano is always available on social at Joe Prano and at Fix Your Life on Twitter. All right, guys, that's the show. Thanks to Justin. Thanks to Ryan. Appreciate all the help. Thanks to you guys for listening. Thanks to you guys for watching. Have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.